Pose to make an AT ad without saying fuck.
So it turns out that Northern Coalition are going to beat Lumpy to go through to face PL in the next round. NC versus PL. Now there is a match between two alliances that is such good friends normally on TQ, but now they are the bitterest of rivals. We are joined by RocketX of Pandemic Legion himself. We've still got our old friend Suetonia. I actually don't know what corporation you're in at the moment, Suetonia.
I'm in I think it's Blackjack and Exotic Dancers. It's TikTok Toxics Corporation.
Oh, all right. Good man, knows a lot about AT ships. Really cool guy. Let's go over what happened in that match. So we saw Lumpy bring their flagship Typhoon fleet, which hopefully we'll be able to show you the fit of a little bit later, with two more Foons for just crazy amount of damage. What I want to know is, what went wrong in that match, Suetonia? Why did Lumpy lose? Why did Caracals and a Drake and Barguests beat such a team?
Well, I think the key turning point in that match is when we saw the Barguests get on top of Ryload's Executor, and they just smart bombed all their rep bots off. And the Typhoons and the Fleet Typhoons, they don't actually have that many replacement rep bots. So once they lost those, that was like 15 heavy rep bots gone. Once that's gone, you don't really have anything else left to keep the team up. The Executor is really weak by itself. It's not a Tech 2 logistic, like Scimitar or Guardian, which can, or a Nero, sorry, that can stabilize itself. And we just saw it go downhill from there.
Rocket, you're in the corridor with Ryload, right?
Yeah,
what was the emotion in the team like? That you
well, I mean, they started out pretty optimistic. They were aware that the two setups were basically shield armor mirrors of each other. It's one that they apparently call Kingslayer, at least the Lumpy team, and they knew they were fighting essentially the same doctrine, but a shield version of it, which obviously brings it with it that they're not going to be able to control range necessarily because the shield team is going to be faster. They're also going to be putting out more DPS because they don't have to use their low slots of a tank. It was always going to be a hard match. It was going pretty well until the Barguest got on top of him and smart bombed all the rep bots off. It was pretty hard to watch, to be fair, because I mean he did everything he could. I watched him. He flew it. The execution on his end was perfect. He called the Barguest coming in. There was nothing he could do to stop it. They did try and send tackle after it when it was burning over to him, but it was too late, and it just coasted on top of him and blew the rep bots away. It was a great fight to watch, actually, both from a spectator point of view and also to watch Ryload actually fly as well.
Yeah, I mean, we were in the studio crowded around our monitor, just like all tense, white knuckling it. So next up is going to be another incredible match. I love the winners bracket for all the top teams we get to see play. It's going to be Hardnox Citizens versus V0lta. Now, Hardnox Citizens did extraordinarily well last year. They had a ton of hype around them. They have since lost a few pilots to the Tuskers. For example, Hoodie Mafia has gone since the last night's tournament. But at the same time, still going to be an incredibly strong team. Still done really well so far in this tournament. They've beaten two teams thus far to get where they are. The other team here is V0lta. Very, very strong team. People predicting very strong performance from these guys, and we have seen it so far. Led by Starfleet Commander, it is the core of the old Triumvirate team with a few guys from Theraboys. So as the match is starting pretty soon, we have to go straight into predictions. RocketX, who do you think is going to win V0lta versus Hardnox Citizens?
I know Hardnox is a very strong team. The guys there know their stuff, but I'm going to go with Vulta on this one. They have a lot of tourney experience going back years. People in there are pretty strong. I would say they'd win this fight.
Yeah, Suetonia.
I think Vulta is going to win, but I just got to mention that Hardnox does have the hottest Gain the Gale Lysis in their alliance. So.
I think it's probably going to be a Vulta victory, but I think Hardnox are definitely going to make it bloody. I think there are going to be lots of ships down on both sides in this match. So let's go and see Hardnox Citizens versus V0lta right now.
Hello, I'm Moderator, joined by Alyssa Randolph to commentate this excellent match between Hardnox Citizens and V0lta. V0lta is bringing a Fleet Typhoon core with an Eos, a no Neros, 2 Spiples, 2 Blackbirds, a Vengeance, and a Vigil.
And Hardnox Citizens are bringing something very similar. They're doing a Fleet Typhoon with a Standard Typhoon, supported by Oneros as well. They went with Confessors instead of Swiftles, the same double Blackbirds, but their support wing is the Heretic. The Heretics are really good missile spam ships. They're pretty good at killing bombers and stuff like that. Vulta didn't bring bombers, so Hardnox Citizens are probably smacking themselves a little bit for bringing the Heretics, but they still do quite a lot of damage, and they're still very survivable with their speed. So we should see what happens here pretty quickly. These two teams are incredibly talented. Like, if you look at the members of the team, there's just raw Alliance Tournament talent. I expect both these teams to go very far in the Alliance Tournament, probably top 6 for each of them. So this should be a really fun match.
Yeah, let's see what they do off the beginning of what is nearly a mirror match.
They both warped in at 50 with some of their support ships quite close. Theronth flying the Fleet Typhoon warped into the beacon at 0, so let's see what he can get his hands on. And it looks like Hardnox Citizens won the jam war early. They got their jams on the Blackbirds from V0lta before they could get anything on it. But V0lta counter by just webbing and scrabbling a Blackbird with their vengeance.
Yeah, they're hard committing onto this Blackbird, and they've already got their screen onto the Oneros. Now the Oneros is grappled. They're going to all in this Oneros as soon as this Blackbird pops. That is an excellent trade. Vulta is doing this absolutely surgically. They know what they need to do in order to break this core, having brought it themselves.
Yeah, this is absolutely vicious. Completely amazing piloting by the Vulta team. They are just killing these guys with surgical precision. They know the targets they need. This Oneros is going to lose out really quickly. He's got no cap soon. He is webbed and grappled. As soon as his Blackbird dies, this Oneros is going down. Hardnox having a hard time picking the next target. They've got a little bit of damage on a Blackbird, a little bit of damage on a Swivel, but they are really controlled. Their Fleet Typhoon core is webbed. Their Lodge is webbed, so they can't stray too far from it, and their Blackbirds are all pinned down.
So we can see that Starfleet Commander is taking some jams, but it looks like he's got a cloud of rep bots on him already, so he'll be perfectly ready to go. We can see that Starfleet is getting reps onto both Control Freak and TikTok, good friends of mine that are in armor, and they're just staying up perfectly fine. Oneros is now starting to take a bit of damage. And let's see what each side does in order to get rid of the rep bots that are on top of each of the logistics respectively.
Hardnox has countered and has grappled and scrammed the Vulta Oneros of their own. So now both Lodges are webbed, grappled, and scrammed. Starfleet Commander is desperately trying to get out. All the rep bots are gone. It looks like for the Hardnox side, Theronth came up in his Fleet Typhoon and just smart bombed all of them off.
Yeah, Forceot's now taking damage. Both of these Oneroses are being neuted, and we've got almost the entirety of the HK Citizens team on top of the Vulta Oneros at 0 nearly.
Yep, Hardnox just need to
trade
get a few lucky jams on. It's interesting to see the different decision making by the ECM wing of both of these teams. Hardnox focusing on the Blackbirds and the Swivel, while Vulta is forming or just trying to get a Typhoon and a Confessor. They're not even trying to counter jam the Blackbird. And Oneros goes down. Hardnox Citizens lose their Logi first. That is a huge blow to their team. They really need that Logi to keep their Blackbirds up, and I reckon the Blackbirds are going to be next. These Fleet Typhoons aren't webbed and tackled from the Vulta side. They can get on it. Lucia is already grappled, webbed, and scrammed. She's going to go down really fast here, and that's when Hardnox Citizens are going to lose their ECM wing, and the match is definitely going to swing in the favor of V0lta.
We can see that even though Hardnox Citizens had a greater control bar for most of the time, Vulta was actually able to apply their damage with a higher attack bar. Once they were able to break the Oneros, the Blackbirds had nothing to actually support them, with most of the Logi drones having been destroyed.
Lysis's Blackbird is really well positioned.
Confessor.
Yeah, Lysis's Blackbird is really well positioned away from the fight, so he didn't get immediately tackled after his counterpart in Lucia went down. But he's still probably not long for this world. A single Blackbird cannot do all that much. Hardnox Citizens are losing their support wing right now. Confessor down, Heretic going down, and Lysis is now tackled in his Blackbird. Lysis, really amazing pilot and a great Eve streamer. You guys should check him out. But right now he's getting grappled down, so he probably does not want you to watch this.
No, the Heretic of Justin Cody wasn't up to speed too much, and then he got caught out, grappled, and now he's dead. Confessor Frankie Sacken is the likely secondary.
Theronth and Any Guarded are really, really good in these Fleet Typhoons. They're able to maneuver around the battlefield really well and just sneak up on these unsuspecting Hardnox Citizens pilots and just grapple them down. And I gotta say, his Vengeance is doing work. You can't really see it on your screen, but he's the one that got tackled on that Oneros really early on and set up this entire fight. Vengeance, super durable tackle. It can't be killed by missile spam. It just goes in and holds things down until they die. And that's exactly what he did to the Hardnox Citizens Oneros.
It's discipline and surgical piloting by the support wing of Vulta, knowing how to not only get tackle on something, but then to burn around the screen and then get a tackle on the Oneros. Vulta was able to use that, and then once the Oneros was down, they snowballed the match. Excellently and surgically flown by them.
Yep, really good decision making by their ECM wing, and we see it all comes down to execution. They're almost complete mirror matches with the exception of the support wing. And the support wing gave Vulta a little bit of an edge because there are no bombers fielded, but everything else came down to decision-making and piloting. Vulta reigning supreme, Starfleet commander, leading this team, knowing exactly what to do, and all the pilots are incredibly talented as well. You will see these guys long in the tournament, definitely into the final weekend, if I were to make a guess. And right now it looks like Hardnox Citizens, they can't really do all that much. Their attack bar is barely being applied. They're jammed, they're grappled, they're scrammed, they're neuted. They can't apply anything. This has got to be miserable for this talented squad.
Yeah, look at that control bar on the top of V4 and Vulta with their attack bar. It's almost completely maxed out. There's absolutely nothing Hardnox can do. They're applying no damage. Nothing's even had its paint scratched on Vulta's side.
Yeah, Vulta just sitting pretty, knowing what to do. And I guess they're just looting the field right now, or just kind of rubbing it in, saying, haha, you're jammed. Because, I mean, you got to do that sometimes. Got to be a mannered EVE Online player, as they say.
So what do you think it says about both these teams that this late in the bracket, we're still seeing an archetype from 2015 come back to this tournament?
I think it's just a really solid benchmark team that you can feel comfortable flying, and that's what you need in this early stages of the tournament. You don't want to get cheesed, you don't want to try a high finesse setup and get knocked down to the loser's bracket early. Just fly something that's very, very strong and something you're comfortable with. And that's exactly what both these teams did. Vulta kind of a little bit more comfortable, I guess, with this setup, and just tweaked it a little bit differently. Like that one change we talked about in the beginning of the match, the double heretics for Hardnox versus the Vengeance and Vigil for Vulta. That basically just made the difference. If Vulta took something with bombers, the Hardnox Citizens team would have a huge edge, but they did not.
Yeah, Vulta is going to be knocking them down to the lower bracket.
Yep, the elimination bracket where Hardnox Citizens will be the scourge of it, along with Lumpy. Oh my goodness, that is going to be hard. You do not want to go down to that lower bracket. You have to go through Lumpy and Hardnox Citizens, and then you have to fight the winner or the loser of the PL versus NC Dot match later. Oh, just end it. Just end it right now. That would be the worst thing to see going up when you lose a match. Hardnox, and then PL or NC Dot, and then Lumpy. Probably not in that order. Man, that is so brutal. As Hardnox Citizens lose their final two ships, they just got a Fleet Typhoon left. Let's see if it's got a good skin. That's all we can hope for now, is to look good while dying.
We're getting to that stage of the tournament where there's nearly no bad teams left in the winner's bracket, and it's really showing here.
Yeah, exactly. The execution that killed the rep bots, it might have looked really boring for a while if you were watching, but it wasn't. It was just positioning and getting those rep bots off. It's a tactical decision they have to make that you can't really see on screen because we don't show drone health or anything like that. But we watched Vulta Theron's fly right up there, smart bomb all of them off with his utility highs, and just death to that Tech 1 Logi. And Hardnox Citizens look like they're about to die now. So close. And he's exploded. Vulta take this convincingly 100-0. A clean sweep. They advance on in the winner's bracket. Hardnox Citizens drop down to the elimination bracket. We will see them next weekend in Reykjavik. And for us, we're done for now. We're going to send it back to the boys in the studio.
Hey guys, welcome back after that match between V0lta and Hardnox Citizens. If Bay could turn off his microphone in my ear, that would be fantastic. Still, we saw a great match there between the two teams, both bringing TFI cores with ECM. I mean, Suetonia, this has become so popular today. Tell us about the ECM version of the TFI core.
So it's worth mentioning that there was a few differences between Hardnox and the Vulta team, yeah. The Fararuna guys, that's it. Yeah, the Vulta guys had less of a support, only going for Vigil instead of the double Heretics on the Hardnox side. And it seems like that seems stronger with the double TFI. Like I think the just regular Typhoons just aren't strong enough.
Yeah, I think they made the decision there to go for slightly heavier tackle in the form of Heretics as opposed to the frigate-sized tackle. And that allowed them to, they had to drop the second Typhoon fleet issue and just field a normal Typhoon. And I think that ended up costing them in the end. I also noticed that Hardnox didn't really seem to have any painters to increase the damage application on the smaller ships on the opposing team. So that wouldn't have helped either in all likelihood.
Yeah, that Vigil putting in work for the Vulta team.
You mentioned Heretics there. Heretics were very, very popular in the Alliance tournament last year, and especially the year before that. What made the Heretics so good back in the day? Why have they fallen off now? Is it just T3D supremacy?
Well, Heretics in the past have been good for anti-support because Dictators are really cheap. I think they're only 4 points in this tournament setting, and Heretics just have light missile spam. They do 250 DPS. It applies really well. Although we are seeing a lot more rapid light ships. We've seen the Orpheus and the Bargus introduced.
Yeah, a few serves as well.
Yeah, which have kind of taken over the Heretic role, I think.
Well, so now that we've had that match, let's have a little look at the flagship that was lost by Lumpy just the match before this. Currently estimating that it's 10 bill, well that could go up as high as 20 really. If we bring that up on screen now, you notice that it had so much officer pimp. We are talking not only X-type rep, we've got 2 Thons modified ballistic controls, one of which dropped. We've got Goten's modified rapid heavy launcher, 2 of those went down, and then 4 Kaika's rapid heavy missile launchers, 1 of those which was dropped. That is a crazy expensive ship. That loss has got to hurt. I mean, Rocket X, you're in alliance with a big pot of money. How much does a flagship cost? Hurt, older alliance who have the money in their pockets? Is it still a big hit, or is it like, we can do 10
Oh, well, I mean, like, it depends, really, because, I mean, whenever certainly PL will build a flagship or they judge on what they field, they look at it and it's like, well, I mean, how much do we get if we win the tournament? And if you're looking at 25 of each frigate and cruiser-sized ship, you're looking at about 50 bill, about 5 trill in terms of your total what you pull in, and especially at this stage of the game, well, I mean, you're going to get skins for each match you win, right? So it's not that big of a deal, really, when you get to kind of the later stages in the tournament and teams with intent to get to later stages in the tournament. And certainly Lumpy are going to be one of those teams that you're looking at contending for those final few places.
And I suppose if you do win, you then have to go on without the flagship, so you're less of a threat, as it does make your team stronger. But you need to get that far in the first place. So if you have to field it early, especially against a team as strong as Northern Coalition, it's absolutely vital.
I think certainly the strength of Northern Coalition may well have been the deciding factor in Lumpy's decision to actually field the flagship in the first place as well.
Now, next up, we have 2 teams